What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. By request, we are going to be doing another Magneto spectating video. This time, again, we will be looking at Vinnie from Mutants. He's also playing with the #1 Loki named Harvey. So this should be a grueler. Let's get right into it. I did watch the first few minutes of this replay, at least to just see if there were some things that we could all learn from. And so I think that this will be a bit of a grueler. Long game, plays very, very well, obviously. And let's get right into it. So right off the rip, I do see a lot of tanks on this map, especially at lower elos or in quick matches or something like that. They play more on the point. They just like to stand on the point and wait for the portal. But he is posturing up a little bit more, waiting to see if the portal is actually going to come through. And then he drops back to his team. They are on high ground, though, so he'll just have to kind of play low ground and kind of wait for them to show up, I guess. He does play a little bit of line of sight here too, using that thing from the top. He plays a little bit of a weirder angle, so they do have to step forward if they want to hit him over to the side there, which is kind of interesting. I think the enemy team would have actually played a lot better if they had stayed up there, though. They do drop to low ground, and he and Strange are able to keep all of the enemies in front of them at the moment. So they're able to get a ton more value out of their shields, protect the people behind them, all that sort of thing. Letting Strange step up in front of them to block when he doesn't have his F up, and then Doctor Strange using the line of sight to get out of the way when his shield is down, and then shields the Strange, steps up a little bit more, letting Strange know that he is able to take the reins. Unfortunately, he is taken out there, but he does take out the enemy Luna, so they should be okay, at least to stall for a bit. So switching over to Harvey real quick. Harvey did steal Luna ult, so the Strange and the other Luna should be able to stay safe on point. Make sure this Doctor Strange stays very healthy. And then his actual Luna ult to stall the point out just a little bit further as him and Namor are coming back to point. They do lose a little bit of presence. The enemy is very postured up on the point. They are all pretty much all standing on it. So this is going to be a little bit dicey. The enemy Luna comes out. Ult comes out. So the Agamotto comes out and almost takes out their backline, but they only do lose Hela there. Beautiful fade from the enemy Cloak and Dagger, saving them from the Magneto ult. Using his shield to try and retreat to his team, knowing that he's still low on health even after that shield is about to fade, so he pops his F to stay immune to damage so he can be healed up. They do have this one tick left on the point, very, very small amount that the enemy needs to get, so he knows that he has to stay on point no matter what, and this is their last fight. Enemy Cloak and Dagger ults. Harvey once again copies the Luna ult, so it's going to be a wet noodle fight on point here. And just making sure that one of them is always standing on point. He is able to back up just a little bit behind the Doctor Strange as he sees him standing on point there. The real Luna ult comes out. Fear Magneto comes out. They do have a couple shield tanks, so he's not going to be able to kill anyone on his team with that. Backing up, but he sees Doctor Strange step off point. He is definitely going to stay on point to make sure that they keep that little tick. Enemy Doctor Strange ults. Luna on the enemy team ults. They do lose their Namor. Harvey has once again farmed his ult. I don't know where he is at the moment. It still says that he is ulting here. Okay, he's not, so never mind. But yeah, both tanks just staying on point. They almost win this fight too. They are actually making a lot of headway, pushing the enemy off point. And as you can see, they do fully back up, and the progress that they made up top is lost. So they will have to have one more chance to get in here. Does a phenomenal 180 shield to save the person behind him from the Namor ult. Don't think it would have killed them, but the follow-up damage might have. Tries to go for the Cloak and Dagger counter. I've seen a lot of Magnetos do this recently, where as soon as Cloak and Dagger pops ult, they just pop their ult and one-shot her as she is stopped in between dashes. So if you've been playing Magneto and you haven't been doing that to Cloak and Daggers, definitely consider doing that. But the Magneto on the other team is able to save her with a well-timed bubble. And they do lose Harvey here, so they're going to be down a ton of healing. And probably just going to lose this point. He does stifle the Bucky, though, by immuning his again, so Bucky cannot get any more resets. Unfortunately, the rest of his team kind of just goes down. The enemy's able to get that last tick in overtime and reset their timer to 2.5 minutes. The rest of his team is doing a pretty good job of backing up here too. None of the remaining 3 are dying, so they're just backing up, giving a ton of space here while the tanks come back. We can actually even switch over to Namor. He actually almost dies here, but thanks to his left shift and a little bit of line of sight with the help of Harvey, he's going to be able to stay safe. Switching back over to Vinnie here. Does a little hop up over here, opts to go to the right-hand side. I think this was smart, especially because he sees that the enemy is on high ground, wants to definitely keep them off of that. Upon getting up here, all of them leave, so now they don't have this weird angle. And then he's able to jump down with them, jump down with the Doctor Strange, and get on point. Harvey drops Luna ult, and his Namor is able to take someone out, so they are fighting a person up. Almost gets kidnapped by Bucky there. I have seen a lot more Bucky. I feel like he was out of range of that ult, but that just seemed like it reached super far. Strange ult, I think the hitbox should be maybe televised just a little bit. I think I've gotten hit by a couple really weird Strange ults recently, so let me know if you agree. Let me know if you agree in the comments. Using a shield basically just to build meter or keep the Doctor Strange a little bit higher on health there. He also doesn't appear to be using his right click, these little meters in the center of the screen. He doesn't appear to be using those in any particular way. He kind of holds them to where, you know, keeping people off of point or something like that, as you'll see him do here in a second, I believe. But for the most part, he is just doing them for using them for extra damage or getting a kill on a squishy target. Sees the Cloak and Dagger ult come out. Opts to actually not go for her and try and scare the Namor and the Doctor Strange off of high ground. His Namor is able to get a follow-up kill on the enemy Namor. And once again, just playing a really good tank game. Doctor Strange is standing in front of him, blocking right now. He has all his cooldowns. He steps in front of Doctor Strange, using his right click for a little bit of extra damage. They're able to take out the Strange and push the enemy back with just about 20 seconds left on the clock. Harvey, I think, pops an offensive Luna ult. That's, I think, what he was just going for there. They were just trying to make enough space so that the enemy couldn't even touch the point. But Magneto just floating over their heads definitely is a little bit of a difficult thing to deal with, especially when the Doctor Strange portal's 2. He doesn't have ult, so they don't need to worry about that, but the other team is able to get right back on that point, push them really, really far back. He does still have all his cooldowns, so once again staying in front of that Doctor Strange. Doesn't have his F, but they do feel safe with the Luna ult and the Namor ult coming in. Not able to get any KOs with that. No one-shots in the center. And I have watched that replay back a couple times, but the Doctor Strange looks like he gets a good ult here. I mean, this looks pretty picture perfect. I don't know how this doesn't reach anybody, but we'll watch it again just to make sure. But I think he might have been too high up or something like that, but nobody except for Luna is unstoppable in that situation, and he actually doesn't get anybody. So that could have been a huge game changer ult if he landed an ult on 4 people. But I don't think there was a shield up or anything like that. Shield might have blocked 1 or 2 people if there was, but yeah, it looked like it could have been a good ult, especially because of the angle and just going down. So he does have his F up, and he will go and stand on point, try and get the touch. Goes for the one-shot in the Cloak and Dagger. Not quite enough damage to get it. And the Moon Knight just drops ult on point to make sure that they cannot heal through any of the damage. And they do lose 4, giving the enemy the first 30 or so meters on this last run. Respawning for hopefully the last time here. We are getting right back into it. They do lose their Namor. He gets kind of run down there. The other team playing very, very far up. So they're going to have to play a little bit more passive while they wait for him. He does actually switch to Psylocke here. I'm not sure that that's the swap. I think the Namor was actually working pretty well. But, you know, we'll see what he can do. Psylocke ult can be really impactful, especially when they have so many backline champions. I mean, they do have Cloak, Luna, Moon Knight, and Hela. So maybe that's kind of what he's going for. Does end up taking out the Magneto, but they do lose their Hela for it. Just trying to stay on point, making sure that they've capped this thing back, making sure it's not getting any extra distance. And they play shields really, really well here. He's staying just behind Doctor Strange as Doctor Strange pushes up with his shield. Doctor Strange backs up, signaling that he does not have that. And Vinnie steps up to fill the place, since he still has his shield and his F. I think that is something that I have also noticed in this replay, that he doesn't use his left shift, or sometimes he'll use his F to just build charge of his little extra damage meter in the center. Very good Doctor Strange ult comes out here, but the Doctor Strange of the enemy team blocks a ton. Cloak and Dagger, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, and Luna all ult on the enemy team. They're just trying to get that one last push. But as I was saying, they do play shield very well. He doesn't use his left shift for absolutely no reason. Uses it to cover people pretty well. Step up in front of the Doctor Strange when he has cooldowns, when Doctor Strange's shield has taken a ton of damage. If you have another tank player that you end up duoing with, very good thing to do. His Psylocke gets a nice ult, gets the hella low. He's able to take her out. Looks back, sees it's just Magneto on the point, and there's someone there. Goes for the pick on the Luna, and then turns around to help the rest of his team with the tanks that are without healers. Able to fend off the enemy in overtime, and ending the first round with a score of 2-0. So, pretty good round. I think they fought really well for the first point. Struggled a little bit on that second hallway, trying to get the enemy back into that first area. Deciding not to portal. So now we're in parts of the replay that I have not seen. So this will be a first time to me too. I like to try and keep these videos organic. If you guys want me to go through these all ahead of time and make sure that I don't miss anything, just to make sure that I'm giving you the most accurate I could possibly be, go ahead and let me know in the comments if that's something you'd rather see. But me personally, I think it's more fun to just keep it organic. Notice what I notice going through replays. It is definitely interesting when especially when you're watching streams. You know, streamers will be playing and they'll say something and you're like, that's not at all what happened. So that's why I think replays are kind of fun, because you can go through and notice things that you wouldn't notice when you're playing, but then when you're watching someone react to it, then you notice things that they didn't notice because they're noticing totally different things. I don't know, it feels like a cool little multi-tiered noticing pyramid sort of vibe. So his Doctor Strange playing up very, very far here, actually shielding off the Magneto from the rest of his team. Able to take him out and get the first 2 ticks to this point. There, Namor is in a pretty bad situation here. He pops his left shift. I think he cancels it early just so that he can die. Making sure that he dies right alongside the Hela. And they are all just pushing up, making sure that they get all this extra space that the enemy is going to give them. The enemy backing all the way down this hallway, stepping up in front of the Doctor Strange on his team, letting Strange step up as he shields him with his barrier up, and keeping the enemy right around this corner as he now has access to ult. Harvey has ult, and Luna has ult, so they should be able to survive pretty much everything that the enemy has to throw at them. Looking to go shield his backline. Believe he shields the wrong target there, I think. Let's actually go back and double check that too. But sees the Namor on high ground, and unfortunately is not able to save that Luna. I think I backed up a little bit too much. But he's only up here with Strange, kind of notices that something's up. Getting on high ground, looking around. Yeah, tries to shield the Luna, but he actually does not. And she gets taken out. They also lose Loki. And being down both healers and a DPS, they also lose Strange. And they just need to back up and kind of concede all of that space that they just took. Playing around this corner, not taking too much damage. I do see a lot of people try and build their ult charges or something like that, even when they would be in a situation like this where they already have ult. Poke is not the same as it would work in something like League of Legends. You know, at this point, if you have ult, there's no reason for you to take any extra damage. You're just giving the enemy team ults quicker. So his Doctor Strange pushing up pretty aggressively. Goes for the one-shot on the Cloak and Dagger. As you can see, she ulted, she stopped for that third dash, and he's able to get the nice one-shot on her. So if you haven't been doing that as Magneto and you're playing Magneto and they have a Cloak and Dagger, ruin her life. It's going to be great. Gets a good-looking Doctor Strange ult, but not actually able to get anyone with it. The enemy Doctor Strange doing a great job of blocking those two. The Psylocke is actually working very, very well. She did pop ult there, take some people low. They're able to chase down the Hela and the Strange. And posture up towards this hallway. This hallway can be really, really terrible to push through, so... And you can break that wall behind you, like he just tried to do there a little bit. Blocking a little bit of damage with his F. Putting a little bit of pressure on the enemy team. His Doctor Strange does put a nice portal there, walling off this Magneto. but the enemy Doctor Strange does portal as well, so they're able to safely get onto the point. There is a bit of a fight going on in the high ground behind him, but he takes the Cloak and Dagger low. His Loki is able to handle the Namor behind him. Cloak and Dagger still not getting a whole lot of healing, so she has to back up quite a bit, focusing on herself more than the Doctor Strange and the Magneto, and with both tanks dead, they can just run down these healers, using a couple of melees and auto attacks to finish them off, taking the second point, and they have a very, very healthy amount of time, 4 minutes going into this last stretch, where they don't even need to get quite to the end. So, Psylocke is again taking out the Hela. The enemy team switches to the Moon Knight and the Namor. Saw the little team-ups deactivated over on the side of the screen there. And just making a ton of space for this payload. You can see 2 people are still sitting on it while he and Strange are doing this. Cloak and Dagger all comes out. The Magneto preemptively shields, so he should get a free one-shot. There we go. You do have to time it. If you're trying to save your Cloak and Dagger, if you have a friendly Magneto, make sure you're looking to shield your Cloak and Dagger during her ult, especially against the enemy Magneto. So, she falls, and they just get very, very run down here. The Moon Knight ult's not able to really get anybody. Kind of just throws it out there. Unfortunately, the enemy did have control over the point, so they're not able to get quite as much distance as they ordinarily would be. But with any luck, they will be able to take out Namor on the point there, stagger the enemy a little bit. And they still do have access to Doctor Strange ult, which they commit there. Not able to turn that into any kills. But the Luna ult comes out to keep them safe, make sure that they can posture on this point. Sees the Loki on high ground, immediately knocks him off of it. Harvey able to finish him off, and this Psylocke once again comes through, doing a lot of damage. I think that was actually a very, very good switch. I believe that guy was playing Namor earlier, and he switched to Psylocke, and he's been popping off. So, love to see it. Staying on this point, making sure that they're able to take out this magic, and the enemy team does step off, and they're able to usher in the victory with a score of 3-2. So, just a really solid Magneto game all around. He plays really well with his other tank. He does what he needs to do. Make sure he one-shots that Cloak and Dagger and her ult a couple times. Shields a couple people that need shielding. That's all you really need to do on Magneto. So, if there's any videos that you guys want to see, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I do look at all the comments. I do respond to the new ones at least. Sometimes viewing replies is a little bit different. So if I don't get to your reply, I promise it shows up really weird. So, but yeah, if there's anything you want to see, leave a comment, like the video if you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.